welcome to an explosive edition of Explore Richland. I'm your host, Mark Ingham. Now, we are nearing one of the most anticipated holidays of the entire year. We all love gathering with family and friends and celebrating our independence with barbecues, music, and of course, fireworks. Now, fireworks can be beautiful and exhilarating to watch, but if abused, they can become dangerous and destructive. Now, to educate us on fireworks safety, we are thrilled to welcome Lieutenant Chris Lee with the Richland Police Department, and with Richland Fire and Emergency Services, Deputy Fire Marshal Chris Berg. Now, thank you both for joining me today. Now, enforcement and response to firework-related issues in the City of Richland is a joint endeavor between the police and fire department. Now, the City of Richland does allow the sale and use of specific fireworks in accordance to Washington state law and local ordinances. Fire Marshal Berg, let's start with you. What fireworks are legal to use in the City of Richland?
So basically, the easiest way to answer that is anything purchased at one of the 9 stands in Richland are legal in Richland. Typically, that would be fountains, sparklers, that sort of thing. As you can see, there's a plethora of products that you can purchase. The things that wouldn't be legal are anything that's aerial, anything that's a smoke-emitting device, and anything that's a ground spinner.
Yeah, well said. Now, Lieutenant Lee, I think it's important to point out that neighboring cities have different laws than we have here in the City of Richland, and so it's easy for people to get their hands on fireworks that would be considered illegal to use in Richland. How is the Richland Police Department gearing up for 4th of July patrols?
Yeah, we have our standard patrol squad that is going to be out in a force, but we're also going to have additional officers that are going to be out focusing specifically on fireworks issues or those types of nuisance calls. The other part is that our officers are being instructed as far as making sure that they're educating people as they're out and about. If we're seeing those that are doing things that maybe they shouldn't be or it's questionable as far as what they're doing, is educating them on what the ordinance is. Then there's an enforcement piece of it. If somebody's found in possession of an illegal firework, we can seize those fireworks and the individual can receive a citation for it as well. Same thing with the selling or possession of a firework. It's a citation that can be received and a $250 fine on it.
Now, Fire Marshal Bird, in Richland, our fireworks campaign urges people to be safe, not sorry. So how can people make sure they are safe this holiday season?
So one of the easiest ways, just use the fireworks that you can purchase that are legal in Richland. If you're going to set off fireworks, do them away from any flammable buildings or fields, that sort of thing. You'll want to have a bucket of water handy, because once you expend the fireworks, before you throw those away, you'll want to douse those either in a bucket of water or with a hose. Make sure you don't have your children light the fireworks. If you do have any duds, don't touch them for at least 5 minutes, and then do not try to relight them. And always to remember your pets on the 4th of July as well, because they don't like those loud noises. So put them where they can't be running out free.
Well said. And now, fireworks, like I mentioned, they're beautiful to look at. They're a thrill to light off, especially with your children. But they can also be an enormous safety hazard if abused. When can residents light off fireworks? And are there age restrictions on who can buy them and who can light them off?
Sure. So you can let off fireworks now until the 5th, between the hours of 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., except for on the 4th itself. You can let off until midnight on the 4th. And the age restriction is 16 years or older, can be purchased or in possession of them without being in the immediate possession of an adult. So we can allow younger children, but they have to be in the supervision of an adult.
Okay, perfect. And now, fireworks stands open for business Friday the 28th, but that wasn't before each stand was inspected by members of the Richland Fire Department. Can you share with us what that inspection looked like?
Yeah, sure enough. So you'll see around there's a barrier around the building here, so you can't have any vehicles within 20 feet. They have to have the proper signage. You can see on here it has no fireworks within 300 feet, no smoking within 100 feet. So they have to have all their proper signage. They have to have their license from the state, and of course they can only sell fireworks that are legal in Richland. Now, most of these stands, we have 9 stands in Richland. Most of them are run by charities. They do a great job to setting it all up and making sure they only have what's legal in Richland. So usually working with them is really easy.
Maybe lastly, a popular place in the city of Richland for people to gather and enjoy fireworks on the 4th of July is our city parks. Are any parks off limits for firework use? And I wanted you to address how serious an issue littering is in our parks over the 4th of July.
So to the first question, to my knowledge, there isn't a park that is off limits, but we would use common sense as to where you're doing that. If you're in an area like you talked about earlier, where the vegetation or things that can catch on fire. Don't want to do that. Popular areas that we typically see is Columbia Point, Badger, Leslie Groves, those areas that have a large parking lot that can be safe while you're discharging the fireworks. To your second question, as far as the littering, over the years we have seen some variances in that. Some years we've actually had really good times where people have been very cognitive of that, picking their trash up, making sure that it's not left on the ground, and then other years where it's been not so good. Talking with the Parks Department earlier this morning, it sounds like last year we actually had one of our best years as far as keeping the parks as clean as we possibly can. So we want to keep that going.
That's great. And I want to ask you, if people have concerns on the 4th of July, fireworks going off that they feel are illegal or just maybe noise issues, what phone numbers are they supposed to call, or talk about how they're supposed to report firework activity to the Richland Police Department?
Yeah, the two main numbers, obviously 911 or the non-emergency number at 628-0333. If you don't believe it's emergent, but it's a nuisance type of thing, use the non-emergency number. Try to keep the 911 free to be able to use for emergency type situations. But yeah, if it's emergency, dial 911.
Perfect. Well said. Well, thank you so much. Well, I'd like to thank Deputy Fire Marshal Chris Bird for coming on the program and Lieutenant Chris Lee for coming on the program and talking about fireworks safety. Of course, if you would like more information on fireworks safety and which fireworks are legal to use here in the City of Richland, strongly encourage you to visit the City of Richland's webpage, which is listed at the link below. And don't forget, we are where you are. Find the City of Richland on all the popular social media platforms. Find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm Mark Ingham. Thanks for joining me on this edition of Explore Richland.